The very loan you thought would help you survive could put your business, your property, and your entire livelihood at risk. For many Zimbabweans, microfinance has become a way to access money when traditional financing is difficult to obtain. But here's the question: when does a loan stop being a solution and become a trap? So, today we are going to look at what is happening in Zimbabwe. Why are some borrowers struggling to repay, and how people can protect themselves before signing that next loan agreement? This lady, she called me. She was on the verge of crying. She was about to lose her livelihood. What had happened? So, she wanted to save her business. So, she borrowed money from the microfinancing people. She used her machines she uses to make money as collateral. So when she could not pay all of it, she paid some. When she could not pay all of it, she was about to lose her machine. So can you imagine? You rely on your machines to make a livelihood, to make an income for you and your family. And all of a sudden, the microfinance people take it because you owe them money. How is that happening? People need to understand something before you take microfinance. Do you even know how the loan works, how the law of interest works? I gotta tell you, as a brand new immigrant in Canada, I fell under the same trap. I borrowed money. I had no idea how interest payments work. I thought if I was borrowing 5,000, when I paid back, it's gonna be 5,000. Even though I worked at the bank, I still did not understand how loans work. So, my friend, before you go for any microfinancing loans, please understand one thing. What do you want the money for? Some people, they take loans because they want to expand their business, or maybe they want to buy some equipment for their business, whatever reason. And for some people, they take loans because there's sickness in the family or there's death in the family. Like, family emergencies can happen or somebody gets sick. But the question is, do you have a repayment plan? So, who should take these loans? Somebody who has a stable job. They know that they are going to get paid, their salary is coming, they can cover their expenses. So, what if I'm not a civil servant? So, you find in Zimbabwe, if you are a civil servant, let's say you are a nurse, you are a teacher, you work for the police, whatever government department you work in, those are the people who get loans from the bank because they know they have a stable job. So, my question is, if you are borrowing money, let's say to expand your business, and you borrow money, how are you going to pay? Do you have a plan? And do you even know how interest work? Because honestly, when I look at the microfinancing in Zimbabwe, some of them I've looked into them, Chimbazo, their interests are insane. So you will find sometimes you borrow $2,000, right? And they say the interest is 25, 30%. You have been paying, but you still have not paid fully, right? So there's a case whereby you owe $2,000, but you've already paid $3,000, but you're still owing because the repayment took longer. You can still lose your property. You can still lose everything because you have not paid fully, even though you have already paid for the loan. The thing is, it's the interest charges that are killing people. So before you borrow a loan, you have to do the math. Let's say you are borrowing to expand a business. How are you going to make the money? Because with business, it's unpredictable. So what you have to do really is find other means to raise the money. Because the very loan that you want to save your business can be the very thing that is going to make you lose everything. So another question is, if I want $300, what else can I do without going to borrow money? I was sharing with people, sometimes if you are skilled in a service and you don't have the capital to start a business or to expand your business, offer your services. If you are into marketing, find companies that are looking for good marketers. If you're a good salesperson, look for companies that are willing to pay you commissions. If you are skilled in cooking, offer your services and cook. If you are talented at content creation, create content and make money out of it. I was watching a YouTube. When was that? Okay, who do I have here? So guys, welcome. This is day number 9. This is second video I've done today. So I'm talking about the biggest problem that is causing people in Zimbabwe to lose their businesses, their properties, their livelihood because of microfinancing. Like if you look here in Canada, we borrow money, we pay 10%, let's say line of credit, or we pay 21%, but this is yearly. But what I found in Zimbabwe, when you do a microfinance, somebody told me that they are paying 30%. They took a loan, they are supposed to pay it in 3 months. Come on, guys, 30% in 3 months. And if you miss your payments, or 3 months end up being 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, that's when the bill increases incredibly. So do your math. And also what you need to do is you need to calculate and create the worst case scenario. For example, if your microfinance loan, let's say it's let me see, let's say it's $1,000 you've borrowed. I want you to do the math before you sign that agreement. So I want you to picture a scenario whereby if you are paying 30%, it's a 3 months loan. What happens in the event that you are not able to pay your loan for the next 9 months? You have to calculate those numbers. I think when you calculate the numbers, it gives you the reality of what can happen so that you can reconsider. But what I find out is people are so desperate for money, they don't look at the numbers, they don't look at the figures. So if you were to default on that loan, which is only for 3 months, and you default maybe 9 months more, you gotta understand how much you will be owing. And I believe seeing those figures will actually help you to reconsider. And I understand there are some situations whereby somebody's sick, you need money for medication. I can understand. But what I'm saying is you have to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Do you know some people who take microloans, they don't even understand how interest work. They don't even understand how much that loan can increase if you miss the payments. I believe, I'll tell you this. Learn to be creative. Learn to monetize your skill so that you don't depend on microfinancing. There's a lady in the rural area. She started a project with no money. She realizes that people are building houses in the village, right? So when you're building a house, you need cement, you need river sand, you need pit sand, you need stones, right? So those stones don't come cheap. So she goes and collects rocks and crushes them and she sells. So this woman already she has made $140 just doing that. So be creative. Microfinancing has to be the lastest. When I say the lastest, microfinancing has to be the lastest resort because people are losing. There was another lady. She lost her business because she couldn't repay the loan, right? But they said, even with your business, the money is not enough. So they were ready to go to a house to take everything. All right, thank you all for watching, guys. So I'm doing this video for people who are in Zimbabwe because people are so stressed. People are losing houses. People are losing their livelihoods. So I wanted to come today and share this video and say, before you go and get a micro loan, watch this video. Have you exhausted all other means? Right now, I can tell you people who are in Zimbabwe, in the rural areas, who have so far made how much? 16,000 US dollars just on YouTube. So I'm bringing this video because I'm not here to just talk about the problem. I want to talk too about the solution. Find ways to be financially stable. Use your skills. And sometimes people are looking for an easy way out. There's no easy way out. There's consequences when you try to do an easy way out. So I'll give you an example here. I'm here in Canada. I grow pumpkin leaves and I sell. You'll find somebody, they have land, they have water, they can afford to buy seeds, but they are still struggling. You see, when somebody goes to get a micro loan, it means it's either they have exhausted all the other resources or they haven't tried other resources. I was talking to someone who was telling me about the stories about these microfinancing and micro loans. And I say to her, you know what? There are so many ways you can make money without going to get a micro loan. And always do the numbers and say, if I borrow $1,000 and I'm paying 30%, and it's a 90-day loan, that's a lot of interest. Is there any other way you can look for the money? But I gotta tell you, there are so many Zimbabweans who are making good money creating content. And you don't have to be an expert when you're creating content. Like me right now, I'm doing my chores, right? I've got customers who are coming to pick their pumpkin leaves. So they want me to prepare it for them. They want me to cut it. They want me to peel. They want me to package it for them because they are so busy. So in this day and age, you can monetize your life. You can monetize your life. And for some people, they are shy. They don't want to be on camera. We can do what? You can do faceless. Yeah, faceless. Like if you look at the Nyatis, they documented their life. So yes, you can get donations from people, but guess what? These platforms, they are paying for content. The one thing I see people struggling with is people are shy. They don't want to expose themselves. You are not exposing yourself. You are just sharing your life with others. You don't have to tell us intimate things about your life. You don't have to. You can tell us your hobby. I'll give you an example. I'm on a 30-day challenge. I'm on a YouTube 30-day live stream challenge because I want to get monetized. You will find somebody has got a phone, they have data, but all they do is look for, what can I say, gossip videos. You see, when you are watching those videos of people bashing each other, yelling at each other, people living their life, you are making them money. You are making them money. So, my friends, I will recommend, instead of going to borrow money from microfinance people, you need to start making your own money. I was who is this guy? I think it's Shelton in Zimbabwe. He did a video how much he has made with YouTube. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, he said he's in the village, creating content in the village. So far, he has made 16,000 US dollars. So, my friend, if you are in Zimbabwe, you are crying, you are busy borrowing money, utilize social media, YouTube. YouTube can pay. Like right now, I'm almost getting close to my monetization. That's why I am doing 30 days live stream. And for some people, they will say, oh, I don't have data. You don't have to create your videos every day. You can create a video maybe once in 2 weeks, once a week, or even once a month. It's not the frequency that can generate you money. It's about the quality of your content. YouTube is willing to pay you, and you are busy borrowing money from microfinancing people, and they are stealing your money. Their interest charges are crazy. And I'm not trying to kill other people's businesses, but what I'm just saying is, for me, it's ridiculous to pay 30% interest on a 90-day loan. That's a lot of interest. Yeah, I understand they're trying to survive, but you should also survive and start your own YouTube channel. You look at Miss V. Miss V, she was documenting herself, her village life, right? Documenting herself, her village life. And now she found a job. She got her contract working at a cruise ship. Look at Kundai Chitima. Look at GK Zim. GK Zim, all he does is drive in Harare or somewhere else. And I'm just giving you examples, guys, of people in Zimbabwe who are making it without borrowing. They are using content. Like you look at, like I was saying, you look at GK Zim, right? He drives around Zimbabwe, mainly Harare. And he's getting views. Like Kevin watches him every time. He watches his videos from beginning to the end. Because he... So this is another idea, guys. I'm just giving you ideas. Because it's so heartbreaking to lose your business, to lose your livelihood, because you borrowed without understanding the implications, right? Because microfinancing companies, they make money on the interest, I understand. Always do the numbers. And don't borrow out of desperation. Because what will happen is, if you have a small problem right now, and you do microfinancing, if you cannot repay it, you are going to have a bigger problem when you start losing your livelihood. Like this woman, she was about to lose her machines, but she needs those machines to do her business. So make microfinancing as the last resort. So, very important. Do you have guaranteed income? So that you can repay in the duration you're supposed to repay. And another thing, to avoid borrowing money, have an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund. That's the problem. Because you will find somebody can go borrow $50 for medication. But if you have an emergency fund, you can use that money. And then second, you need to understand the numbers. If you were to default, if you were to extend your loan, how much more interest are you going to pay? So when you have an emergency fund, if there's an emergency, instead of going to the loan sharks, instead of going to the bank, instead of going to the microfinancing people, you can use your emergency fund. With your emergency fund, it does not accumulate interest. You can charge yourself interest if you want. So guys, I'm giving you ideas on how to avoid losing your livelihood, how to avoid losing everything you've worked for because you cannot repay a loan. If you are somebody who is a civil servant in Zimbabwe, you know your paycheck is coming without fail. Do the math so that you don't miss. Because if you do, okay guys, if it's $100 you borrow, you think it's small money, and then they charge you 30% a month. If you were supposed to pay that 30% in 3 months, and all of a sudden you are not able to, 3 months, let's say the 3 months turn into 12 months. Do you have the numbers? Do you know how much you would have paid just in interest? It's not worth it, guys. Learn how to hustle. Right now, what I can tell you is, if you have a phone, follow guys like GK Zim, follow guys like, there's another one I'm forgetting. Period. What's his name? Kevin watches him a lot. Actually, what's his name? Oh, the one I just mentioned. Him and Period, Kevin. Is it Kevin or I'm not sure, I forgot. They are doing they are partnering up to teach people how to create content. You know, you find like I'll give you an example, Miss V. She was documenting her life in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, just doing the day-to-day. And like me right now, I'm not showing my face, I'm doing faceless. So you have to figure out what kind of content do you want to create. If you are shy, do faceless. Show us in your garden, tell us stories. I'll give you an example. For me, it's not like whether it's microfinance, whether it's credit card here in Canada, whether it's chimbadzo in Zimbabwe, it's the same thing. If you are a borrower, you are a slave. Borrowing is slaves. I saw someone who made there was a post. He says modern time slavery. Modern time slaves are not in chains, they are in debt. When you owe somebody money, you are a slave to them, especially if they charge you those crazy interest. Like for me, I struggled a lot. Took loans, took credit cards, not understanding how interest works. And by the time I was done paying my interest, when I finally woke up, I had paid 5 times than what I borrowed. This is what interest does. Okay, so I have pumpkin leaves. Oh, this is mixed. I have pumpkin leaves. So pumpkin leaves, I sell this. I'm in Canada. I sell pumpkin leaves in Canada. And this is rape from Zimbabwe. This one I don't sell because it didn't come out a lot. It's only for our consumption. So I have got customers coming to get their pumpkin leaves. One has already come to collect. Now, I see one like. Thank you guys. Where are you watching from? So guys, I'm talking about how people in Zimbabwe are losing their businesses, their house, their livelihoods because of chimbadzo, microfinancing. You can say microfinancing or chimbadzo. For me, it's the same thing. The most painful thing is if you borrow 1,000, let's say all your payments you have done is 2,000. If there's still a balance, they're still gonna take your property, even though they've recovered their loan amount already. I understand they have to make a profit, but like here in Canada, they do debt pardoning. I don't know how it works, because you would have paid what you borrowed plus interest, but because of the rules set, you still lose your house. I was doing an example for a mortgage, right? Let's say you have a 500,000 mortgage. is 30 years. By year 20, out of your 500,000, by year 20, I did the calculations, if I'm not mistaken, you would have paid around 800,000, which is 300,000 more than your mortgage. But because you have 30 years, you still owe them. For some reason, you get sick and you can't work. You lose your job. You can lose your house, even though you've already paid what you owed plus $300, 300,000 more. That's why you should avoid borrowing. Like I went into $45,000 in debt here in Canada. It was hard. Took me 5 years to clear that when I finally woke up from my slumber. Oh, my head hurts. Whew. All right. So, guys, this is a warning. Before you take micro loan in Zimbabwe, please understand the numbers. To avoid taking the loan, be resourceful. Start content creation. Learn from others. Do you know there's another person in Zimbabwe? He does storytelling. Yeah, he does storytelling and is monetized. Be creative. Avoid those microloans. They are dangerous. Told you about this woman who called me crying that she was losing her machines because she couldn't pay. She had used her machine as collateral. I don't blame the loan people because they give you all the information before you borrow. But people are quick to sign because people are desperate. They are quick to sign. They will just say yes without understanding what they are saying yes to. So if you borrow $1,000 and you are paying 30% after 30 days if you don't repay it, my friend, month one you are paying $30. Oh, yeah, needs to be worse. Thank you. So guys, let's do the numbers. If you borrow $1,000 in Zimbabwe and they start charging you interest after 30 days, or however they charge you, month one is going to be $30 you've paid in interest. If you go to month two, you will pay $60 in interest, which means you're going to pay $160. Those numbers are ridiculous. That's why it's important for you to be resourceful and always have emergency money. Some people, they'll say, oh, I can't do a business. I don't have money. You don't need money to start a business. Sometimes you can start a business without money. If you have your hands and your brain, offer your services. Offer your services. If you can clean, go clean houses, raise the money you want. Have an emergency fund. If you can cook, oh, battery power, charge your phone. All right, let me go grab guys, if you know somebody who's struggling financially in Zimbabwe, they need to listen to this. I'm sharing ideas on how to make money with content. I was giving examples. There's a guy called GK Zim in Zimbabwe. All he does is drive around Harare and other places, showcasing events. Like Kevin here watches GK Zim videos like every time they upload. Talk about, oh, Kundai Chitima. Yes, that's Kundai Chitima, yes. And I think it's Kelvin Biriot. They are doing a workshop where they are teaching you guys how to create content. Follow those guys. I know Shelton, he did a video. He made $16,000. If I'm not mistaken, he said he's in the village. So what are you waiting for? Document your life. Teach us some life lessons. Share the life lessons you have learned. You can do storytelling, but whatever you do, avoid microfinances if you know you cannot repay. And the other problem I've noticed is people, they go and borrow, they hear those crazy interest charges like 30%, and they still take the money, right? Some of the reasons why people take the money are not even urgent. Which brings down the other question is, if you are not able to raise the money right now, what makes you think you're going to raise that money plus the interest and give the microfinancing? I remember, and another thing is people sign things without understanding. I remember I bought some land in Zimbabwe and they gave me a contract